even though all these disturbing things are happening during the progression of the story, we didn't want to show anything on screen that would be exploitative or overpower the rest of it. And we also didn't want to do anything that would make actors feel uncomfortable or be troubling for them, especially because we have kid actors.
I bet when you were a little kid and you thought about the perfect place, this is probably what you wanted for yourself.
I heard about the story through the documentary on Netflix, and I
Mm-hmm.
was so disturbed and fascinated by it and asking questions that I read the book written by Jan Broberg and her mother. And when I read the book, I started to understand it more deeply, and I started to think about how interesting it would be to dramatize the story a little bit more from their point of view with more time to tell the story so you could get into their experience and understand how some of these things happened. And so we reached out to Jan and her family, and that was the beginning of a couple of years of conversations. When the show got greenlit, Jan came into the writer's room. She talked to the writers. She met with everybody, the heads of department, all the directors met her, and she would come to set when we were shooting. And, it was very surreal, I think, because she gave us boxes and boxes of stuff, furniture, clothes, diaries, stuff from around the house. So we were able to recreate her childhood as closely as possible. And she was there to give us notes and tell us, it would be like this and like that. And it was just a totally essential resource. And she's very, very generous and very active and very strong. And we just couldn't and wouldn't have made the show without her. I think we had the exact right number of episodes. In fact, when the show was ordered and greenlit, it was for 8 episodes. And we went back to them and asked for one more because I had, the writer's room had worked on it and plotted it out. And it was like, I think this is what we need to not drop stuff that we think is really important. And, it's a story that took place over years and years. So to me, that amount of storytelling real estate was what we needed. Yes, definitely. Some of their names had been in the conversation from early on. I had seen Jake Lacy in a lot of things over the years, and then I'd seen him in White Lotus, which he got nominated for an Emmy for, of course. And I had just thought he really had an extraordinary quality, and he was able to do the stuff that we needed, the really key thing that we needed for B, which is make you understand how this family could fall in love with him and how they would trust him and see him as not dangerous. And at the same time, embrace the darkness that's inside him. And it's a very brave thing for an actor to dive into, to me. And I think he just went beyond what I could have hoped for an actor to play this role. And he is also a leader on set, which is really important for a show where there's these sensitive themes, and you want it to be a set where it feels protective of the kid actors and it feels like a positive, good environment, even though you're telling this story that's so intense. Yeah, totally. It's a great question. And it was something that was on my mind from the very beginning. And I think with a story like this that contains such disturbing elements, it was really important to remember that it took place over so many years when all these other things were going on. Like they were living a normal life on the surface, and birthday parties were happening and normal family events, and they were going to plays and all these things. And to me, that was part of what was so strange and so compelling about this story, that this darkness was going on underneath. But at the same time, in the fullness of their lives, there's all this other stuff too. And we wanted to portray that as well. So we wanted to make it balanced. And we also knew from the very beginning that even though all these disturbing things are happening during the progression of the story, we didn't want to show anything on screen that would be exploitative or overpower the rest of it. And we also didn't want to do anything that would make actors feel uncomfortable or be troubling for them, especially because we have kid actors.